Alright, now I'm going to talk about assignment 1 for computer security. I'm going to try to talk about this in class, but in case I don't get a chance to, I'll discuss it right now. Okay, assignment 1 is about the simple substitution cipher, or the Cesar cipher. Okay, I'd like you to create a Java program to decrypt the following text using a simple substitution cipher, Cesar cipher, nothing fancy. Submit your completed assignment to the Dropbox. Okay, and it says the program should use the text below hard-coded, and it should get input for a shift value. Okay, I gave you some hints here. It says post your answers to the Dropbox. If you use int, it will, like for instance, the hint here says integer in parentheses will convert an A to 65. I'll show you more about that in a second. Char will make 65 back into an A. And here's the text you need to start with. Now, I did include this Java program. It's in the content page, but I'm not sure if it'll open correctly through there, so it's also in the assignment Dropbox. Okay. Now, inside here, if you view clip library, you can actually see the ASCII value of stuff. For instance, A is a 65, Z is a 90, a lowercase a is a 97, and so on and so forth. So hence that whole int and char thing I was telling you about. Okay. This program is very basic. It's just a sample. Do not turn this in. It will not work. Okay, this is not what you need to turn in, but it's just a sample. I'm giving some starting text here. So I'm declaring a variable called cipher text, which is equal to this value. It's of type string. Okay. Then I want to print something. System out print this text. So in other words, this text right here, which is this text, is being printed on the screen. Then it outputs, I'm using the concatenation character, then it outputs a space and the word becomes. Then it does some math here. Okay. What it tells you is system out print. You notice I'm using print, not print line. Print line will put a carriage return at the end of each one. Then I take the string. I'm using something called char at. It's covered in, I think, in chapter 3 of the Java book. It should be in chapter 3. Okay. I'm using ciphertext.char@0. That means return the first character of the string, so it's going to return this H right here. So ciphertext.char@0 minus 3. The Cesar cipher, which you'll learn about, shifts by 3. Okay. So this is saying take the first character, strings always start at 0, the first character of ciphertext and subtract 3. So if we have an H, if I bring back up the clip library, we have a capital H. It's actually 72. Now I'm going to subtract 3 from it. Now, so there'll be 1, 2, 3. That'll be an E. So the H becomes a 69. 72 becomes a 69. Now, let me show you this. Okay, this part's all together. So it's taking the first character minus 3. So the H becomes an E. Then it's converted to an integer. Then converting it to a character. So that's how it's, because this is actually returning the value. Okay. See that? It's returning the value. Does parentheses first, so it actually converts this to an integer. Then subtracts 3. If you know, remember order of operations. This says take the first character, which is the 8, convert it to an integer. So H is now 72. Order of operations then says do the subtractions. Then we subtract 3. So 72 becomes 69. And then we convert that back to a character, so 69 becomes E. I do that for each one. Now in Java, you can go Tools, External Programs Compile, and it should tell you compile successfully. Then if I run mine, you'll see you actually get HDVWHU becomes EASTER. So now the characters become Easter, because this first one becomes an E, an A, and like the D. Now if you go over here to D, subtract 3 from it, 1, 2, 3, 68 becomes 65, so the D becomes an A, and so on and so forth. Okay, yours doesn't need to do just that. Yours actually has to do a little more. Okay, I want to see, you know, this whole thing here, and there's actually more text. Okay, so it should output something. You have to figure out what it outputs. Okay, now since I am doing the Cesar cipher, so if we did have a H, it would become an E. So if you were to look through here, this H would become an E, this H would become an E, this H would become an E, so on and so forth. Okay? So that's your assignment 1. I want the Java program. Submit the completed Java program as your assignment. Okay? If you have not had Java yet, contact me. I will give you some additional time. So if you have not had Java yet, I will give you some additional time. And I can verify that, see if you're fibbing or not. So, okay, that's it for assignment 1.